So in this video I'm going to be showing you a black acrylic design set. So I've already applied my CJP square tips, done all my natural nail prep as well, and then coming in with a clear base of crystal glass using my big boy brush. I did do this base a little bit thicker, not too thick, but slightly thicker than what I normally do, just when they're doing black. When my client comes back in 3 weeks' time, she will be wanting a redesign. So I need a bit more of a substantial base to file back to and file through that black. So I start off on the ring finger, applying quite a large bead of Birthday Suit in the reverse method. This nail is a smile line design. So I pull the sides of that bead down to both corners, and then come in with my brush, really blend that bead into the natural nail and pull it up slightly just to extend it a little bit more. I then shape the free edge with my brush, making sure, as always, you've got that nice wall there to give you something to butt your acrylic up to. Like I said, if you've watched my last video, it does need to be quite deep because this is your stress point on the nail, so it needs to be slightly thicker. It will look really thick when you've done it, but don't worry about it, that's what it's supposed to look like. So just make sure you've got that really nice deep wall before coming in with your second bead of Birthday Suit at the cuticle. So you get your brush right behind it, push it out and fill that nail, make sure there's no little gaps, and then blend it up into your first bead. I am going to be applying a strength powder at the tip, so you do need to make sure you've got your apex in place with your Birthday Suit. So you can add more on if needed. If you look from the side angle, you will need to see if you need to add any more. On this nail is going to be a netting design with a clear sort of area at the end. So I come in with CJP Black Magic at the cuticle. I drain quite a lot of the liquid out of this bead because black is really highly pigmented. If you don't, it can be quite difficult to work with. So I apply at the cuticle, just pulling it up but not right to the end, as I want to leave that free edge clear. Just make sure it's nice and smooth. You've got no lumps or bumps. I then come in with a black glitter. I think this is from the Smiley glitter store. My Sarah Nugent, she's got some amazing glitters and I've used them for years. So I just apply that over the black, just pulling a few little pieces up into that free edge. I then cap the whole nail in crystal glass, and then I will come back in with some netting to imprint a design. So on this nail, I apply a large bead of black diamonds at the cuticle area, pushing it right up into that cuticle and then getting your brush right behind the bead and just blending that into the nail, pulling it right up to the free edge. Again, black, all these sort of colours are really highly pigmented, so it will cover quite well without adding too much bulk there. I then dip into crystal glass and then dip into the black glitter that I used previously and a silver holo mix that's from Glitterarty. Just a nice chunky mix, and I thought by mixing this in it just really showed the black up. So on the netting one, I dip this netting into my acrylic powder so it doesn't stick in the nail. Really press it in, you do have to be quite firm with it. And then just gently pull it out, being careful not to pull any acrylic off the nail. So back to this nail, I then cap that whole nail in crystal glass. Applying a large bead at your cuticle area, getting it nice and flush, and then pulling it down with the belly of your brush. So on this nail, I apply a bead of Birthday Sue at the cuticle, getting it nice and neat in that cuticle area, and then blending it up towards the tip, making sure it's nice and smooth. You've got your nice smooth application. As always, I really run my brush over with the monomer. This really makes it smooth. You don't get no lumps and bumps or patchiness. Then come in with a small bead of Black Magic at the free edge, just fading it back slightly, not too far, because then I'm going to come in with some glitter and fade that down the nail. So come in with the black glitter that I've been using, just dip into your crystal glass, get a really small bead and just push that glitter where you want and fade it down into that birthday suit. Then come back to my smile line using a 150 grit file. It is a new one. I do like to use a new one for smile lines just so it's nice and sharp. So holding it at a 90-degree angle, start from one side and just work your way around gradually, building that nice wall. Checking from all angles to make sure the wall goes from corner to corner. I then come in with a bead of CJP Black Magic. No, Black Diamonds, sorry, the sparkly one, stunning colour. Quite a large bead, really drain the liquid out and then push it round into those corners. I'm not too bothered that I'm going over that smile line because it will come back through when I file because I've built my wall up right. So then keep pushing it round. If there's any excess at the edge of the nail on the tip, you can just pull that off. Then come back to the netted nail, pick up a really wet bead of Black Magic and just push it into those gaps that I've created with the netting. When you're working with black, make sure you're thoroughly cleaning your brush in between. It can stick in your brush, and when you're using your clear, obviously you don't want any black in your clear, so make sure you're really cleaning it in between. So then come back to the first finger and cap that nail in crystal glass. So on this nail, I'm applying a bead of Black Diamonds, the same as the middle finger, just applying it, pushing it up into your cuticle and then pulling it down the whole nail. And then just do a bit of a glitter fade on this one. So I'll come in with the glitters again, but just applying at the cuticle with a really wet bead of crystal glass, a small bead as well, and just fade it up towards that tip. I will then cap the whole nail in crystal glass. Because the black is so highly pigmented, you can kind of paint with it as well. So if you need to add any little bits like on that edge, just pick up a really small wet bead and it will just paint on. So then onto my filing technique. You'll all probably get really bored as I say the same thing in every video, but it is exactly the same. Holding that file really straight and flat against the edges, especially on a coffin shape. This is how I'll get my really crisp shape. So my usual routine: side wall, cuticle, round the other side wall, neaten your free edge, and then down the barrel of the nail. Just with nails like this where you've done a design, just make sure you really file through that black to reveal your design, but also watching your apex at the same time, as you don't want to file it away, and just make sure it's nice and smooth and you've got no lumps and bumps. So I will just let you watch now because it's the same on every nail. I do just go over with a white block because black can show up scratches and you don't want those to come through when you apply your top coat. Then remove all the dust, wipe over with isopropyl alcohol to just really get all that dust off, and then come in with my super shiny CJP tack free top gloss, applying it to all the nails and curing in my LED lamp for 60 seconds. Once it's cured, just let it cool for a minute or so and then apply your cuticle oil. And here's your finished look. Thank you for watching.